is where the heart is. So let's start at the start, our heart. The beat of a town with its tracks as its veins and the pulsing part to our campaign. The hum and clattering of crowded carriages throughout the arches and brick dust passages connects and spread across these lush parishes, bringing together loved ones and families, or nightly freight perhaps wrapped in packages. These forward-facing trains are the lifeblood of our town, bringing business and opportunities all year round. Something that we're proud of and often world-renowned, punching above for a northern town, for our trains that are always outward bound.
If it wasn't for the railways, Crewe wouldn't be here. It's as simple as that. You know, we are here because of the railways.
Everyone you speak to in Crewe has some kind of connection to the railway.
It would be like the icing on the cake for Crewe. And it would just take us back to being that railway powerhouse that Crewe once was.
So I'm Laura Crane. I am the Vice Chair of Cheshire East's Highways and Transport Committee and Ward Councillor for Sandbach, Chetley Heath and Wheelock. I think if you look at Crewe, it's just surrounded by railways, isn't it? You can't enter the town centre without going under or over a railway line. It is just there. It's part of your life. You just get used to hearing the railway. You get used to seeing movements and it's just always there.
Crewe is one of the original railway towns. 185 years ago, the very first trains arrived at Crewe Station, or what was then Monk's Coppenhall.
Crewe's quite unique in the sense that it was a one-industry town which came up overnight. The geography of the place led to railways arriving, and then the Grand Junction decided to open a works.
Being the major employer it was, I mean, there were 80,000 employees in the early days in the factory. In fact, the London and North Western Railway Company at one time was the biggest company in the world.
I think one of the biggest things for me from my childhood was little stories that my granddad used to tell us as a signalman out in the sticks, really. They would see and hear all sorts of things, and he used to tell me little ghost stories about people he'd seen on the railway that he'd gone to speak to, and then they'd disappear because, they were ghosts. Crewe exists because of the railway. I think that's one of the most important factors for me. It's a railway town. If you look at the Crewe Alex football team, they're the railwaymen. There's no other name that you could possibly give them because that just encompasses everything that Crewe is.
Well, we wouldn't be here. The football club would not be here without the railways. I'm Mark Bevan and I'm the chairman of the Railwaymen Supporters Society. The town of Crewe was a population of less than 1,000 before the railways came in. And thankfully that grew as the railways developed and it brought more jobs and prosperity to the town. At that time, the men were working long shifts. They were doing 60-hour shifts and they needed some kind of let out. They wanted to let off steam, and sport was a great way of doing that.
If you blast one over the bar at Crewe, it lands on a train and it ends up in Glasgow. I mean, and that's always been the way it is. We live cheek by jowl with the railway.
One of the best things about Crewe is obviously the people. The people are sincere, they're hard-working, they care about where they live, and that shows throughout the town itself.
So we started our business actually from a horse box. We set it up in 2000 and I think it was 19. Obviously we hit COVID, we had lost all the events that we booked in, and then we saw this opportunity for Crewe Market Hall. We got a place here and we really fallen in love with Crewe and all the people from it.
It's like nowhere else. I live down south of it and it's just so different down there to up here. And Crewe's it's really special because it's a town and it's not a massive town, but it's not a small town.
We've always wanted to have a business of our own. So as a family, it's a big thing for us because it's our first chance to have a business. All the other traders, we're like a big family, really.
Market halls, market squares, marketplaces have for centuries been the heart of the community. I'm a big believer in regeneration. And I'm a huge believer in the regeneration of Crewe. You know, when we think that, you know, one of the world's greatest car makers is here, some of the first rolling stock came off the plants in Crewe, and that's still inherent in the people today.
Crewe really is a national hub for rail freight. It's on a junction of 6 different railway lines, which does make it a really nationally significant place for the rail freight industry. At Freightliner, we have quite a significant operations base here. It's one of our largest yards and sidings, and we run about 100 services per week through the yard. There's been a rail freight facility in Crewe since the early 1900s, and Freightliner has grown quite significantly over recent years. We've just opened this wonderful facility here at the Vehicle Maintenance Depot, where we maintain our fleet of electric locomotives. We also have one of our national operations centres based in Crewe as well.
I started my career in Crewe. If I'm honest, it was a long draw into the rail industry. So it was more of a wanted to, but didn't know if I could do it. But then Freightliner provides such support for women working in this industry as well. That was one of my main draws. Crewe provides everything you could want in the rail industry, whether you want to work in customer service, project management, leadership, drive trains, signal them, fix them. You can do it all here in Crewe.
So this is the Talent Academy in Crewe. So this is the flagship training site for Avanti West Coast. The Talent Academy is situated just 10 minutes walk away from Crewe Station. So we're ideally placed to deliver training from here. We do a lot of classroom-based training, but then practically, obviously we're sitting on our training train at the minute, so we're really fortunate that we've got 2 carriages of a Pendolino train in our facility, so we do a lot of practical training on the train itself. We have technology available to us as well, so we've got virtual reality training that we can use, and we've also got driver simulators to give the trainee drivers that kind of immersive experience of what it would look like to be actually in the cab before they get out there.
My name's Sajid. I work as a welcome host and I'm currently working at Manchester Piccadilly. I seen a role for a welcome host and I thought, you know, I have to take it because it's something that I've never done and I wanted to challenge myself to be out there in front of customers at all times. A welcome host is a different role completely because it is customer facing, but it's very customer focused because everyone that comes up to you is querying about different things and you have to be on the ball every time. You see people coming from Manchester to Crewe and you see people that are working in Birmingham, London, you know, they all come to Crewe. Even last time when I came for my training, some people came from Preston, some came from London, Birmingham, Coventry. Everyone comes to Crewe and they come from everywhere.
We're a town that connects people. That's how we developed originally. We connected people, we connected industries.
It's within everyone's family. You don't know anyone in Crewe that hasn't either had a relative that's worked in or currently works or will go on to work in the railway.
If Crewe was a home of Great British Railways, it'd be a real vote of confidence in the rail freight sector. We know that rail freight, the Crewe is an absolutely key hub for the rail freight industry.
Oh, that's a big question. Well, I think Crewe helps all those towns and cities because they go on the Crewe station and everything goes from Crewe.
We're going to be on the HS2 line, you know, and where better a place for the home of Great British Railways to be.
It's time to kind of cement the town's tradition and, you know, really put us on the map as kind of a modern railway town.
Crewe is a railway town. It was formed around the railways, so to bring the headquarters of Great British Railways back to Crewe would be fantastic. It would give the whole town a boost.
So clearly Crewe has been shortlisted, one of 6 towns across the UK, but it's the only town in the northwest of England. I think this in itself sends a really positive message.
Crewe was literally born from the railways. It was a village before we became a railway town. And that's really special to the people here. It means that for generations, people have been part of the railway industry in all sorts of different ways. HS2 coming here means that's going to carry on long for the future, and that just means that we're this really unique place when it comes to the railways, and I can't think of a better place for GBR to have its HQ than here.